Can I? Okay. I've been myself a caregiver as well, not with dementia, but with autism. And it's true. At times it's very hard, and I can, from talking to parents as well, I see how difficult it is for people to really care 24/7 for anyone. But I'd like to also say that although they have to be supported in a social way, they also need to be supported in a political sense, in a financial sense. These recent cuts, they put people in a position where they cannot leave their families, that they cannot leave their parents or their children to someone else to look after while they're out doing something else. They have to be in the house 24/7. So research like this should be put in front of politicians to change their policies and see that these people really need a hand. They need money to support and pay for a social worker or a support worker, someone to look after their family as well. It's a shame that it's not happening, actually. Anyway, it's not a question.
I just wondered how you focus on the relationship between the mother and the daughter, and I just wondered to what extent the challenges faced in that relationship, in those kinds of relationships, how that differs to father-son relationships. I wonder what you thought about that.
Yeah, a little bit. I expanded on this a little bit in my introduction, and there is a lot of evidence that the experience of spousal caregivers is different for to daughters or adult child in general, as well as to non-dementia caregivers. And because between spouses there is more intimacy, for example, whereas between mother and daughter there is more like a blood relationship, more emotional involvement, something like that. Whereas sons, for example, tend to take this task as a task, not very involving emotionally, and just take it as a practical thing to do, as an activity to take. So daughters, maybe because they are females, they tend to take things more personally and emotionally. Maybe they have less coping strategies to deal with the demands and handle everything inside, whereas male tend to be more yeah, maybe, or more resentment. Yeah.
Sorry, in your research, I know you probably didn't, but in your research, were you able to speak to the actual people that they were giving care to? Did you speak to them during their lucid moments, for example, and did you kind of get to kind of gauge how much help or how much they appreciate the help that they're getting or something like that?
You mean like a formal help?
Not formal help, no, just from their caregivers alone, like just kind of to support this evidence of that they need that emotional support and stuff like that. Were you able to find evidence out just speaking to the actual patient?
Yes, I spoke to 3 daughters. They are like ordinary people who just look after their mothers. It became their life circumstances, their life changed. And for example, the kind of emotions they experience range from frustration, loneliness, to guilt, resentment, self-blame. So, and they say it's difficult for them to tackle. So maybe more appreciation for them is needed, or sharing their experience.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't read that. I meant the mothers, sorry. I meant the mothers themselves, yeah. Did you actually get to speak to them?
No, not the mothers, just the caregivers, the daughters.
Sorry, one more question, then we'll
I'd just like to say, first of all, this is probably the most interesting study I've seen today, so well done. I just want to ask about, it seems that your participants shared really painful experiences, so there must have been a quite significant emotional cost for them taking part in your study. How do you convince them to take part, and how do you present to them the benefits that they would get from taking part in your study, even if it's just emotional support, or just to let out?
Let them talk about and being listened to.
Do you think that helped them?
There was actually quite a low response rate. My inclusion criteria were saying that the caregivers should be for at least 2 years in the caregiver situation, and 2 of them were in the mean of 3 years, but 1 of them was for only 3 months. And because of low response rate, I decided to include data in the analysis. But I don't think it hurt the quality of the analysis. It was still valuable. So, yeah.
I'm asking if the participants got any benefit, even emotional, from taking part in your study, because I mean, it seems that they shared painful experiences.
I think the main motive for them was to help me conduct my research, because they acknowledged that during their interviews. One of the participants took it very, very emotionally, and for example, cried out during the interview because it was so hard for her to talk. But she just continued to speak because she said, I want to help you, because I want to talk about that. I want to take part in this research.
For me,
and this
good
is
as your study is, this is, I think, serious ethical limitation if you talk to this third person. As good as your study is, I think that's an ethical limitation.
Right, but a justification to this was that these caregivers are already in a support programs. So, and the interviews took place in Alzheimer's Scotland local office. So there was somebody who could be with us if needed, but it wasn't necessary. Although this might be a limitation to this study, because people who are in support group programs are either better adjusted to cope because they're already coping, seeking support, but on the other hand, people who don't look such support might be better adjusted. So this is an implication for further research.
So what I'd like to say is what a lovely way to finish our afternoon off. You really model a wonderful approach to your research participants and your research subject, and some really rich stuff coming out of there. And I think, you know, when you hear stuff that's so from the heart, you really recognise it, it really resonates with you as a human being, as a psychologist. So thank you very much. I'd just like to